Welcome to our first Monday episode. If you have been listening to the podcast for a while, this is brand new. If you're new to the podcast, we're now releasing an episode twice a week. So excited. And I want to tell you how our Monday episodes are going to work and what we're going to be covering and how they differ from our Thursday episodes. So strap in and get ready for episode 079. Let's go.
I've always been that skinny guy.
Why can't I gain muscle mass?
What do I do in the gym?
They said I'd always be skinny.
This is your complete source for how to gain lean muscle and break out of your skinny body. From nutrition to getting the most out of your workouts and everything in between. We know just how frustrating gaining muscle mass can be, but don't worry, we've got you covered. You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast. Welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parody, and I will be your host today. And exciting stuff. So typically, we don't launch an episode on Monday. For as long as the podcast has been up and running, it's only been a once a week thing. We've only been releasing on Thursday, and our Thursday episodes are not going anywhere. So rest assured, Thursday's episodes will be the same, where we're strictly going to cover the essentials for how to gain lean muscle mass through nutrition, through our workouts, and so none of that is changing. So if you're new to the podcast, definitely check out Thursday's episode. If you're a repeat, well, stay tuned because Monday's episodes are going to be amazing. I truly believe that fitness changes us as a whole. I am not the same person that I was when I started off 10 plus years ago, and not anywhere near. And I'm not just talking in the physical sense. Yes, I've undergone a big physical transformation, but I'm also talking about a mental transformation. I'm talking about how it makes you want to be better in other areas. Because as we grow and develop muscles and we have success with our fitness, we begin to have more confidence. We begin to carry ourselves differently. We begin to talk differently. We begin to think differently. And all that carries over into other areas of our lives. And so I truly believe that fitness is a stepping stone to really recreating ourselves into a better version of us. And so my goal with Monday's episodes are to really dive into that side of things. So the mental side, the emotional side, the relationship side, all these things play a role. I'm married, I have 2 kids, and so it's important to grow in those areas as well. It's important to grow in the areas of our career and what we want to establish in our lives and what kind of legacy we want to leave behind. It's important to grow in finances and relationships and through our whatever your spirituality may be or your inner belief, like that core belief, all that stuff matters so much and it all ties together. You really can't have one without the other when you really launch into fitness on a deep level. And so that is my one main goal with Monday's episodes, is to really build all the other areas in our lives in addition to building muscle. And Monday's episodes, if you listen to the Thursday episode, it's always a solo round, and that will continue to be so. But on Mondays, I'm going to sometimes do solo rounds, but I'm also going to be having guests on that are more knowledgeable in some of these other areas like relationships or finance or finding your passion in career, because I'm not an expert in those areas. And so I'm going to have people who definitely know more about those things on, and we're going to pick their brain and we're going to grow together. So I'm excited to launch this. It's been a long time coming. I've needed some nudging and encouragement from my wife to make this happen. So shout out to her, because it's been something that I've talked about before, we've talked about before, and it's finally now taking shape. So in this first Monday episode, I want to kind of talk about the importance of getting quiet and what that's meant for me personally. So we live in a very loud world. are, and me especially, I am rarely seen without my phone in hand. I run an online business, and so I'm constantly talking to people. I'm constantly putting out content or scheduling things or making appointments or whatever it may be. And so I'm inundated with a lot of stuff. And sometimes I have to take a step back and say, okay, I've got to make sure that Brian is taken care of, because I don't want to burn out or be a stressor to my family or all these other things that can kind of sabotage my ultimate goals. So what does that look like for me? Well, I've really begun taking time. Back in the day, I used to wake up super early and work out. My work schedule has changed. I have my own home gym now, so I don't have to go to the gym. So my whole schedule has changed. And so rather than working out in the morning, I now work out in the afternoons, which leaves me with the opportunity to spend my mornings building myself up rather than just sleeping. So not saying that I get this right all the time. Sometimes I do hit the cancel button on my alarm and go back to bed. It does happen, just pure honesty here. But what I've been really trying to do is get up an hour to an hour and a half before I have to start getting ready to leave for work, and spending that time just focusing on me. And what that includes right now for me is reading books that are growing me, both mentally or I do read some books on business, things like that. So things that are developing and growing me. I take some time to journal, to just write down thoughts, and I also take time to meditate. And what my meditation looks like is guided meditation, because my mind will wander if I just sit there in silence. And so I have like this free app. It's called Simple Habit, and it's like 5 minutes, and it just kind of directs your thoughts a little bit so it doesn't wander. And I'm telling you, when I do this in the morning, when I take that hour to do these things, and I also want to incorporate more, like this is just the beginning phases of that. But I notice that when I get up and do those things, my day is typically calmer. In other words, I'm in a better frame of mind. When I leave for work, I'm more at peace with walking out the door and just in the daily ongoings of life. Like I feel like I'm grounded rather than just waking up, throwing my clothes on and getting ready and running out the door. I feel like I'm more grounded and ready for the day and more at peace with who I am. And also it's growing me, because I'm reading things that are pushing me and stretching me and making me think. And so I want to encourage you, if you're not doing this, to start doing it. So, it doesn't have to be morning time. That's just when it works best for me. I have 2 little kids, and so, I don't have a lot of time where I can just be by myself. And then, after they go to bed at night, I want to hang out and spend some time with my wife. And so that time is kind of dedicated to that. So morning just works for me. And maybe there's a different time that works for you. Maybe you get home before your wife, or, whatever. Figure out what time works for you. And it even if it's 15, 20 minutes, like that's great. Don't dismiss that. So my number one step is to really push you to do something that's just feeding you. And maybe it's something totally different than reading or meditation. Maybe it's practicing yoga, or I don't know. Everybody's different. Maybe you love painting, and it's taking 20 minutes to just sit down with a paintbrush and paint, or to write, or work with some wood tools, or whatever it is for you. Something that really grounds you and gets you quiet, where you're kind of doing something, but you're also growing, and you're peaceful, and you don't have electronics in front of you. So I just want to encourage you to try that out. And I'm excited that we're now going live twice a week. I'm really excited because we're going to have some great guests on in the weeks to come. I know I'm going to learn a lot, and I know that it's going to be beneficial for you as well. So thank you so much for listening. If you have not been to bonestobulk.com, please head over there. I have a free training. It's right there on the homepage. You can't miss it. Click the button, sign up for it. You get it delivered to your inbox. And it's basically me talking with you through a recorded video where I really walk you through like mistakes I made when I started to help you not make those same mistakes. So head on over to bonestowalk.com and sign up for that free training. With that being said, remember, no matter what obstacles you're facing, you can overcome them. You've got this.